Strange things are afoot at the Circle K.
That kid is back on the escalator again.
Ain't gonna hurt.
Is my boomstick!
Game over, man. It's game over.
Welcome to the Bargain Bin. He is your host, Ben Mason.
And he is your co-host, Sandra Luketic. And this week, we're talking 1986's Raw Deal. As always, we assume if you're listening to this episode, you have already seen the movie. Sandro.
Yes, sir.
I think it's safe to say this is not your standard Arnold Schwarzenegger film.
Correct.
You being such a connoisseur of his films, have you seen this one before?
Yeah. It was... I did have this one in my collection before my collection was stolen. I think we've talked about this on probably any episode we've done with Arnold. It was up to 22 movies at the time. And this was definitely one of them, because when I started collecting, there was like an era of these movies that were not like blockbusters and were fairly inexpensive. So when I was like trying to fill out my collection, getting this and Raw Heat or Red Heat and things even just like Eraser and Collateral Damage were like, for lack of a better term, bargain bin movies. So they were really easy to bolster the numbers with.
Right on. I remember finding this one in a bargain bin on VHS the same day, the same night that I bought Once Bitten, also on VHS.
Good movie.
A great double feature, that's for sure. But I had never heard of it before. I was young too, right? It was probably like late 80s, early 90s. Ooh, no, it would have been about 94 because I already know who Jim Carrey was. Never heard of it. Had never seen it in the video stores, nothing like that. Picked it up and I was so excited. I watched it as soon as I got home and hated it. And I think it's because I was expecting Arnold, not undercover FBI agent mob. I mean, even that sounds like an Arnold film, but it does not play out that way.
This definitely doesn't carry the traditional workings of what you would consider an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. I think the most prominent of them is Arnold almost built his career on the cheesy one-liners being used as accents for things both serious and comedic that took place in his movies. And this one is completely void of that. It is a time where I'm not sure if Arnold really kind of knew what his niche was. Like there was obviously movies prior to that had some more zingers, but that might have even been scripting before he really made it his own. And that makes this movie really feel like something different.
Yeah, and I think he only really had one movie before this where he had one-liners, right? I think it was only Commando. Because what did he do before 86? It was Terminator, the Conan films, and Commando, I think.
Yeah, I think it probably was Commando. I mean, there was definitely lines that I loved in, say, Conan, but those were absolutely scripted, the way that they were. Still, though, like, it gave it that Arnold flair, right? Like, there's no punching a camel in this.
No.
So, yeah, it's an Arnold movie that doesn't feel like an Arnold movie.
It's an Arnold movie where it really does. Now that we look back at what came previously, a movie where I think he was really trying to figure out who he was as an actor.
Yeah.
All right. That makes me go a little easier on this movie.
Well, I didn't know you were going to go so hard on it to begin with. I'm actually curious, with such an extensive Arnold lineup, why you picked this one, but maybe we'll get to that.
Yeah. Well, let's just hop right into it then. And this is why this movie is so disheveled for me, because we open on an Amtrak train arriving at a station and then a boat arriving at the docks. and a helicopter landing at the train station, all with shady dudes. A weird way to open your movie.
It's absolutely unnecessary. Like, you don't need a travel montage. We don't know who these people are. We don't know where they're going. Yes, okay, they're coming through different means of transportation. There's just no point to this. And I will find that, like, this movie's runtime is entirely too long for what it is.
Oh, I agree completely. I have also never seen a helicopter land in the parking lot of a train station before. And if these guys are trying to stay low key, that is not the way to do it.
I don't think they are trying to stay low key. There's a lot of element to the villains in this where they almost brandish who and what they are.
Well, we cut to a series of cabins in the countryside. Same shady guys, but now with guns. Because it's a mob hit, goons sent to take out an informant and his guards. There's a lot that happens here, but I kind of just want to hear your thoughts on it. Did you find this siege to be a bit like overkill, or do you think it made its point? It's a good way to open the film.
I think that this opening siege is perfect. It is 80s action. We can talk about what is or isn't an Arnold movie for hours, but what is an 80s action movie is over the top scenes just like this. Yes, there is a lot of overkill, but that is an 80s action movie. And to me, when I watch this, it's like perfectly settling into what I'm about to watch. And really, this is where the movie should have started. Forget all the travel stuff. You want to build intrigue, just literally start the movie with a siege taking place and have the audience wonder, like, what's going on? Who are these people that are getting attacked and being attacked, or doing the attacking? So yes, this is great.
Yeah. I agree. This stupid travel montage or arriving montage at the beginning of the movie has already got me laughing. So I'm not taking the movie seriously. And then you cut to this. I agree. If you start the movie with this, it is so intense. It is so good. It again does not feel like an Arnold movie, but this really I don't think should be an Arnold movie. I think he should have been recast. But it's so balls to the wall, right down to the killing of the informant in front of the mirror, with the line like, "So you want to be a witness? Witness this," and then makes him watch himself get shot in the head. Jesus Christ! Like, no, this is good. I'm like, this is amazing. Scrap the opening and just give us this.
There's a lot of stuff that could be scrapped. Get the runtime down. Make this a more concise movie. Recast Arnold, because I love Arnold, but this isn't an Arnold movie. And you got a great foundation here.
Yeah, it's an hour and 41 minutes. It should be under an hour and a half. I'm really thinking Arnold got this because it was distributed by the De Laurentiis Entertainment Group, and Dino was, the guy behind, I want to say, both Conan movies. So they probably had a deal lined up before the movie was even started shooting. But the movie sucks me in even more because we cut to later that night where FBI agent Harry Shannon, played by Darren McGavin, who was one of my favorites, is grieving over the body of his son, one of the guards, and straight up states he's going to kill whoever is responsible. Not exactly legal, but I'm along for the ride.
But it's 80s action. What do you do when a family member gets killed? You get into you take vengeance yourself, however directly or indirectly that looks.
Do you remember Darren McGavin from anything? He is in a very classic Christmas film that I absolutely despise.
I'm drawing a blank, but I mean, he's definitely one of that guys.
Yeah, he was the father in A Christmas Story.
I don't remember much of The Christmas Story. I wouldn't have gotten that.
Good. I hope it stays that way. But he was also Kolchak from Kolchak the Night Stalker, one of my favorite shows. That was a massive influence on the creation of the X-Files.
Oh.
So he's always Kolchak to me. One thing I found weird, and maybe it's just me nitpicking, but at this massacre, there's 8 bodies and they have 2 ambulances.
Yeah.
Just stuff them in there, I guess.
Just stack them. They ain't going to complain.
And then we just cut to a high-speed chase, which is the most redneck opening theme to an Arnold movie ever.
Let's talk about other scenes that are not necessary. Like, okay, if you cut out other excessive unnecessary scenes and after the initial siege use this to just do your credit roll, I'll forgive it one time. But
yeah, I feel like he really nailed this kind of character in was it The Last Stand, where he was that small town sheriff?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I know which movie you're talking about. I'm drawing a blank if that was the exact name, but yeah.
So it's small town sheriff Mark Kaminsky, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he's chasing a man impersonating a police officer. When we get into this logging area, I'm getting mad rad vibes.
It's just so unnecessary.
I know, but it made me want to watch Rad, so I did. The whole chase is just stupid. And I'm guessing eventually we get to a point where like the perp is driving in a loop because Arnold just stops and the guy ends up driving back towards him. And do you want to cover how he stops this guy on the dirt bike?
So he lights a cigar, and I don't remember seeing him set this trap, but as the cyclist is going by, he throws the cigar into what I guess is gasoline across the road. Yep. And the guy gets thrown off of his bike. And even me, I'm just like, okay, yes, 80s action. We're going to stop referencing that. But it's just like, you're going to stop someone for impersonating a cop that you easily could have blown up.
Yeah. Like, you could have just killed him right there. And you do actually see Arnold walking to the back of his Jeep and put the gas can back into it.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't just pull your gun on him or at least maybe like shoot out one of the wheels or one of the tires. But making him drive through a wall of gasoline fire, probably not the best way to go about it.
Again, you ask why. It's 80s action. I mean, I don't want to keep saying it, but that's what they did over the top.
And then just drives him back to the station.
This perp is like pretty calm considering that the cop just tried to blow him up. He's like, and he's cracking jokes too, like trying to like, I don't know, not crack jokes, but like be a little more deceitful. It's like, I'm not risking it with this guy.
This, to me, this feels like a TV show. It feels like a late 70s, early 80s TV show. And I feel like that about most of this movie. And I think that might have been one of the things that really took away from it for me. And that it didn't feel like an action film. It had some action film moments that felt like there could have just been like edited in. But it was, I don't know, there's a weird vibe going on here. And I also feel that this town is way too small. They would probably know who this impersonator is.
I mean, he might be from out of state, you know? That's he's been going from state to state trying to pull this scam of pulling people over, which okay, so I'm sure this is completely irrelevant to the plot, but like you can question where he got the police outfit, right? You know, he said even he says, I was going to a costume party. Yeah, you could get a police outfit at a costume store. Where does he get the police bike?
I don't know.
It's like he's definitely driving a police bike.
And it's also like later on we see a police van for a bomb squad that looks incredibly unofficial.
No, it says SWAT on it. It's good.
Yeah, it looks like a frozen fish truck.
Well, it was the 80s. You know, it was the fashion at the time.
I remember the 80s. It wasn't. So Mark heads home and we meet his drunk wife, Amy, who's decided to bake a cake commemorating their 5th year in exile. So Mark is a shamed former FBI agent. Okay. He asks Amy, go for it.
What is the point of this relationship and this scene? Like, I get that Arnold is, you know, exiled and we get a little bit more info into that. with the corruption later, but like, what is the point of this? First of all, none of this relationship feels natural. Like when I was watching this, because it has been some time since I watched it and I couldn't remember, I was like, are they like in witness protection and he's guarding somebody who's not actually his wife? Because
that's what I remembered. That's not the case at all.
There's no chemistry here. And you get what I guess is supposed to be an Arnold line with the don't drink and bake.
Yeah.
But it's just bad.
Well, to go along with that too, like he asks Amy what's for dinner and it's just cake. And his reaction is simply to say, if they eat that, they'll be fat. Like there is no chemistry here whatsoever. But also, I'm realizing how bad of a husband Mark is too, because like there's no consideration of like trying to console or help your wife who's obviously spiraling out of control.
Yeah, what's for dinner is not the question you ask when you see your spouse in this state. She is clearly suffering, whatever we think about her. Yeah. And he asks what's for dinner.
And then after she whips the cake at him and you get that line, it just cuts to later that night where he's just let herself drink herself unconscious.
Yeah, well, but he puts a blanket on her, so he's a good guy.
Yeah, it picks her up and takes her to bed, but then comes out and keeps drinking himself.
Because he's a good guy.
Then gets a call from Harry. Harry teases him with reinstatement, and they meet the next day. I have to ask, did you enjoy Amy's scenes here at all?
No.
Good, because she's not in the rest of the movie. We never go back to her.
No, there's just like in the final scene where he's with I can't remember the names, but he's helping the guy learn how to walk again.
Harry,
he's just like, yeah, we reconciled and we're having a kid. And it's like, yeah, okay, that was necessary to the plot. Like,
yeah,
you could have cut this out entirely and just had Harry call him, be like, hey, I know you were kicked out of the force. That's all we have, but I need your help. You've cut down another pointless extended scene that has no chemistry and no bearing on the movie. And then when he comes to help him walk at the end, you don't need that. You just be like, you didn't give up on me. I'm not giving up on you. Like, unnecessary fluff.
Only way that would have worked and made sense is if Harry like laughed to himself and was like, you keep making all the same mistakes I did. Just like reinforce that father figure thing. But no, we just need to like bring it back to the beginning that we didn't need in the first place.
Exactly.
So did you notice anything weird about their meeting place? I will take the silence as a no.
Yeah, what was weird?
Well, they meet at a marriage counselor's office, and Arnold, I'll say Mark anyway, says the Bureau arranges such intriguing meeting places. To which Harry responds, this has nothing to do with the Bureau. Well, then how did he pull that off?
Just squatted in the office. He was like,
exactly.
I'm using this.
So he shows Mark courtroom footage of Chicago mobster Luigi Petrovita being interrogated by Baxter, the man who cost Mark his career. And we learn Mark had to resign because he shot a suspect. In Mark's defense, the sus molested, murdered, and mutilated an 11-year-old girl. I have, in quotations, molested, murdered, and mutilated, followed up with the note, fuck, did he have a hard time getting through that line?
It was a tongue twister for him, but it's
and that was the best take they had.
Does it strike you as interesting that, like, he almost exploded a guy for pulling people over dressed as a cop, but this guy who did heinous things, he just shot?
Yeah, and he's just a small town sheriff now. It makes no sense.
No.
Like, Mark Kaminsky is just he's insane.
I'm going to say this now, he is not a likable protagonist.
No. Like, he tries to straight up murder perpetrators. He is a sociopath, does not give a shit about his wife. Is basically, he is driving her to an early grave and is relying on her to take care of him. So we do get some really good acting from McGavin here when Mark asks about his son Blair. Just watching him like pause and look down, and when he looks up, he's crying. Like, this guy is the actor of the movie for me. And this whole meeting is to get Mark inside Petrovita's organization and ruin it, but off the books. So can you explain to me then how Harry is offering possible reinstatement to the FBI for Mark if the FBI doesn't even know this is happening? He's basically illegally hiring a hitman.
Oh no, he's it's exactly what he's doing.
Yeah.
But you are asking too many questions, sir.
And of course, because Mark is insane, he agrees.
Well, I mean, he was offered $40,000.
45.
Oh,
we'll get into
apologies.
how that money is broken up later.
And
First
also,
step,
you also
yeah.
appeal to his good nature because, you know, he asks, how's your son? We went to a few ball games together, so you're building a history, right? So it's
Yeah. How's Blair? First thing he has to do is fake his own death by blowing up his police car at an oil factory. Sure. Where did the escape motorcycle come from?
if you're gonna ask questions like this, you're gonna have so many, dude. Like,
Well, he had to bust through the gates, but there's already the escape vehicle set.
well, he had to make it
You're
look
right.
real to the people who couldn't see him, and he radios it in. He's like, "I'm investigating a break-in at the whatever," and it's just like, okay, but aren't they gonna know there wasn't a break-in? And
Yeah.
if it was just a break-in, why did you explode?
And where is your body?
Like I said, too many questions.
No skeleton, nothing.
No.
Okay. Harry sets Mark up with a new identity of Joey Brenner and gives him $25,000 starter money, then a rundown of the crew he has to take out, starting off with rival mob boss Lemonsky, who's been taking Petrovita's business, but also kind of working for him, or did at one time.
So I know I told you to stop asking questions, but I'm going to do the same thing. And like, did the $20K startup money come out of his fee? I can't imagine
Yeah.
Harry's just got another $20K sitting around to be like, here's your floating money.
Yeah.
I wasn't referring to, maybe he stole that from evidence. I don't know.
Oh, look, because right now it's like, this is a long-term game plan. So I'm going to give you over half of our funds right now to just spend.
And not just our funds, like your supposed fee for doing this. It's you're burning it now.
Yeah. It's not just, I'll give you $45,000. It's, we have $45,000 to work with, and maybe I might be able to work something out to get you your job back.
Yeah.
Taking out Lemonsky is a decent way in to Petrovita's family, I would say. But there's also a rat somewhere leaking information. And my next note here, which I think you can agree with, is this movie loves its exposition dumps.
And the thing is, they are so guilty for so much of the bloat that's in this movie. There are so many ways that you can do these things to just quick hit the information that you need, but they just want to beat you over the head with it.
So how are we feeling about this movie so far then?
Yeah, you don't want to ask that question, man.
Yeah, it's I actually have it playing right now. This is the 20-minute mark, and we needed maybe 4 minutes of it, maybe 5. So the next move, expose Lemansky's backroom gambling hustle, kick the shit out of everyone inside, and drive a tow truck through the front of the building. Thoughts on this scene?
So breaking up the gambling, that's one thing, right? Like they're not going to the cops and things like that. But he is not concerned at all about witnesses seeing him drive this thing through the wall.
There's a group of people he asked to move out of his way.
Like, they might be able to identify you there, dude.
Yeah. The TV to the head was surprising for me.
Why is that?
Because the guy,
why is any of this surprising you?
Well, first of all, the guy wielding the TV, first off, can't pick up a TV. And he's definitely not swinging it. And then Arnold just grabs him and throws him up into the ceiling rafters.
It was on like an extended light thing, like a fixture. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. I love during this scene how there's just the one guy who's like stuffing his pockets with the money, though.
Yeah.
Like he sees everything that's going on around him, which, ignoring the unrealistic nature of it all, like it's pretty crazy. And he's not running for the door like everyone else. He's just like, stuff in his pockets. No problem.
I have to say, most of the scenes of this movie where there's just cash all over the place end up being the most entertaining scenes.
Fair.
My favorite one we'll get to soon.
Okay.
I did love Arnold's shit-eating grin as he drove that truck through the entire building, though.
Just, right? And it's not even like nighttime. It'd be like, okay, if it's nighttime and there aren't as many witnesses around, because, it's gambling. It would be very believable to happen at night. He's doing all of this in broad daylight. He's so proud of himself. It's so ridiculous.
It worked, though. Petrovita tells Lemansky to get out of town. And then we get that crazy attempt at taking Petrovita out with a bus drive-by. This felt like it was out of a Death Wish movie for me. I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
But I don't know how only one of Petrovita's guys died, other than plot convenience, because now he needs a replacement.
Yep, you just answered your own question, sir.
Yeah. Mark hijacks Lemansky's limo and robs his girlfriend, then bribes his way into Petrovita's secret casino to talk to his second-in-command, Roca, and also flirts heavily with the beautiful Monique. I guess this works. It just feels like it's delaying even further any potential plot moving.
Yes, that's exactly like there's so much fluff in this. I'm not against the concept that is taking place here, right? I even do like the line where he shows the jewelry and says, "This is to show that nothing is off limits," kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's so inflated. This could be like a 5-10 minute scene, and it feels like it's 20-25.
Yeah, it kind of feels like an episode of The Equalizer that they just stretched out to over an hour and a half. But Roca's impressed with Mark, gives him $1,000 in chips, and gives him like a temporary tryout, I guess, for the family. Mark gives the $1,000 in chips to Monique, who's already wasted all of her money. And this is her character through and through. She just sucks money out of people. And I had to say, it looked like a lot more than $1,000 in poker chips.
They do it by dollars.
Yeah. Yeah.
So later on, we find out that she's working for Keller.
Yes.
Is it? Does Arnold know that right now, or is he just randomly picking her out of a group, or does Keller pick her because he like?
Good question.
It's just
I think Mark is just a bad person.
Everything is just convenience. It happens so often.
Because he doesn't find out that she's working for Keller until they end up back at his place or her place.
I think it's her place.
Her place. 3 of Roca's goons fight Mark in an alley, which is broken up by Detective Baker, played by Ed Lauder, who is great in everything he's in. Who then just leaves.
He just doesn't question it. Like, even if Arnold was the one that was just attacked by 3 guys in an alley, they'd still try to like take him in, get a statement, something. They're just like, oh, okay, no worries.
Yeah. And like you said, everything in this movie happens out of luck. One thing goes sideways, everything else would fall apart. What are your thoughts on the police sting on the money house?
Any thoughts on it?
You don't have any thoughts?
Not really, no.
I love this scene. It is one of the most ridiculous parts of this movie.
Okay.
I love the jogger starting it off. She was pretty good. Just a gorgeous woman out jogging and jogs up to the lookout car, leans in and just asks the guy, when's the last time you had a good piss? And then pulls a gun on him. Great way to get inside the stash house.
Where was she hiding that gun?
I've got ideas. And this money room is just nuts. It is the least organized thing I've ever seen. There's just crinkled bills all over the place, on the desk, above the desk, on the wall, on the table. It's on the floor. These guys are not good at their job.
It would drive me insane. I'd be in there just straightening and stacking bills. Like, what are you guys doing? Bunch of savages. How are you even supposed to count this?
But they really aren't doing anything. That's just it. Like, you look at them and they're just kind of there. And okay, cut to the guy at the back door with the sledgehammer. He swings it hard and smashes out one of the glass panes of the windows on the door, which does absolutely nothing.
No.
And then actually hits the door and it busts open. So what was the point of the first swing? Why even keep that in the movie? Next question. How many people in this house are having sex at the exact same time?
Oh, all of them.
They all are. They bust into at least 3 rooms where people are just getting busy.
Yeah. Well, what else are you going to do around crinkled money?
And the last guy who is in a room with a girl who hears all the commotion and you expect he's the furthest away, gets up and gets dressed and busts out through his room, and it leads directly into the money room. He would have been the first person to have heard anything.
That's soundproof. It's the sex room.
The door was open.
I tried.
So the police get all of this money. It's Ed Lauder's sting. They also got $100 million worth of heroin, which we didn't see there. But Petrovita wants the money and the heroin back.
Yeah, why wouldn't he? That's a lot of money.
He's concerned about the heroin. It's mine. I bought it. I want it back. Not really how that works, but sure. It's a very Trump mentality. But again, out of pure luck, perfect time for Roca to bring Mark into the family. Okay, and this is the scene we were talking about earlier, where Mark and Monique go home. One of the worst, okay, I should say they've been drinking champagne, and Arnold is, quote, drunk. And one of the worst lines of the movie. And, like, I know he was trying to sound dumb, but the line of, know what I like about bedrooms, there's always a bed in there.
Not in there, nearby.
Oh, nearby. Did he say nearby?
Yeah, something like that.
That's even worse.
Yeah. But I mean,
he is terrible at acting drunk.
He was pretending to be drunk.
Badly.
Well, yeah, but that's still what he was doing. He had to pretend he was drunk. Otherwise, he would have been unfaithful to his devoted wife.
Yeah. Who doesn't exist anymore.
I love... Okay, I know we ask a lot of questions here that we shouldn't ask, but, like, does she not... Like, is he not concerned about faking his death and the impact it would have on his wife? Like,
they don't even touch it.
He comes back later, as we discussed, and says, like, we patched things up, but, like, what if he gets back and she's moved on? She went back to New York. She found another man. It's like, you are gone for a day.
She would have been stupid not to. Because our original thought about her being in witness protection, he's the one looking after, would make so much more sense. All that we know is he either had to resign or he was going to be charged. So he resigned and then moved there. There's nothing keeping Amy there.
No.
Except for the love she has for Mark, which we don't ever really see. So once you remove Mark from that equation, Amy's free, probably has a shit ton of insurance money. I'd be getting the hell out of there. She didn't want to be there from day one. It's been 5 years. There's no way he's tracking her down.
Yeah, we're analyzing this relationship too much, but
Fair enough.
Somebody had to. The movie wasn't.
All right, back to the bedroom. I really did laugh out loud when he passed out and smashed his head on the headboard on his way down.
Hey, he was dedicated to the bit, man.
He definitely was. And this is where he finds out that Monique is a spy for Keller, which again I think means he was definitely going to cheat on Amy and then had second thoughts.
I don't think that's it. I mean, they tell us constantly that everything needs to be planned out, or at least Arnold tells us constantly everything needs to be planned out. He must have known she was working for someone. He set this all up.
Based off of what?
Shut up. That's what.
Because all the interactions between those two is 1, casino, 2, casino, and then they go home together.
Yep.
Mark and Keller go to a gay bar and shake down a guy who's paying Lemansky, I guess. I don't really know what's going on here.
I don't know.
We see
good. That we see that Mark is a good guy, so he tries to save the one dude by dragging him down the bar, splashing, I don't know, paint? I don't know what they got something there.
It looked like paint. I don't know why it would be there though.
Yeah, on him and saying, "This is what you would look like if you were dead," because he didn't want Keller to actually kill him. But I don't know what the point of all of this is.
All this does is it makes him look like he's hiding something. But Keller already suspects him anyway, so you don't even need this. Lemansky's golf scene I thought was hilarious. Because everything about it works. Yet the fog, the lack of music, the dialogue is hilarious. Multiple missed swings, and on the last one the club goes flying and he just stares at the ball before throwing his hat at it. And the way he delivers his line, "Shit, I hate this game," is perfect. Now, this one side character, the side villain that we shouldn't really care about at all, has become probably the most interesting character for me. I want to know what happens to him. I want to follow his story now, but we don't.
I hate to break it to you, buddy.
Yeah. So, Mark attends one of Petrovita's parties where he comes off as a complete smartass. Why?
Oh, no.
Because you're trying your best to get into the family. Don't jeopardize it by being an asshole. And as I'm so confused watching this, we then get what is, in my opinion, one of the best scenes of the movie. The shopping scene. Mark and Monique are shopping for dresses. Lemansky's guys spot him and a fight breaks out. Is there anything in this scene that stood out to you that you enjoyed or that you disliked?
I love that they're like, "This is a holdup," and it's like, it's clearly not.
Yeah. Not at all. Yeah. The women in the scene are so mean, too, I noticed. But Mark tells an employee to call the police, and Monique pushes her, calling her a dipshit for some reason. Of course, Mark kicks ass. Monique's holding her own, too, which I found really funny with the mannequin arm. Did you notice that when he throws one guy through the glass door into the mall, none of the shoppers react?
No. None of them.
They just keep walking by like nothing happened.
Well, yeah, it was, in another room. It doesn't concern them.
Yeah. And then one shopper runs into another shopper in the dress shop and just says, "Get out of my way, bitch." What? Why is that in here? This scene is such a mess. I love it. Mark comes up with a plan to get the money and heroin. Call in a bomb threat. Not a terrible idea, honestly.
No, and I also love how he reinforces it by saying, like, yeah, they wouldn't take it seriously, but if you give them a reason to be nervous, then they would, right? So it's like, okay, yeah, this is a good plan. So
they end up, calling in, is it 3 threats to other stations, and one does have a bomb that goes off?
Okay, we can't talk about this bomb that goes off.
Okay.
Because this guy walks in broad daylight, shows his face to the cops, clearly does not spend any time loading the machine, which is exactly where the explosion comes from. And somehow he's not caught. And we see later that these police stations do have cameras. Oh, so it's just like, why even bother?
Mark finally admits to Monique that he's married, and my next note just says, "Remember Amy, anyone?"
It's so unnecessary.
Well, Monique's response is she doesn't know doesn't know which one of the two of them is the biggest asshole. Like, I'm pretty sure it's you, lady. Like, you work for a mobster, you take and spend everyone's money, and you're spying on Mark, giving up all of his info, and then you get mad that he's married.
Well, because she was starting to fall for him, you see.
That's a Monique problem, if you ask me.
I'm just saying, like.
Okay, how about this one? Mark tells Harry his concerns. And when asked if he's going to stick with it, Mark says Joey has a good life, mentions he has a lot of money. How has he not blown through all of Harry's savings so far?
I don't know, man. I'm guessing that he started to earn while he was working for them.
I hope so. Because right now, Harry's like, he's got a dead son and he's like broke.
Yeah, but there's a lot of scenes with money just laying around. Arnold could be stuffing his pockets at any point.
He should be. Like, Harry gets the shit under the stick in this movie from start to finish. The bomb threat plan, I think, is pretty great for an 80s movie. Attempt to kill Lemansky to draw the police away. Get everyone dressed as a bomb disposal unit and phone the threat in yourselves. Then rig the phone lines so they get the call from the police. Even something as minute as blowing the vault door, having it seem like they just detonated the planted device, I thought was great. Unfortunately, way too smart for this movie.
I was just about to say, the entirety of this scene just made me question, like, did they have the intellectual or technological capabilities to pull this off? Because I did not get that impression up until now.
No, me neither. Everybody in this movie is a bumbling idiot, or just makes the wrong choice. Nothing would come together and play out this smoothly.
No.
I dug the car chase shootout with Lemansky, though. I thought that was prime 80s action. Right down to Arnold actually murdering two of the guys. Straight up.
I really don't have issues with the action scenes themselves. It's just the context of which they take place that's a problem.
Oh, yeah.
And the story around it. The actual scenes themselves are fine.
Yeah, the action scenes are great. The story's dog shit. Keller shows a former cop a photo of Mark. This cop originally busted the real Joey Brenner and says he has no idea who this person is. Baxter rats out Harry to Petrovita and says to have him killed. And Keller recommends Mark, which is such a dirty tactic, and I love it. And I think it makes Keller the true villain of this movie. Very dirty.
Keller was clearly a villain, and I don't want to say villain, but like he was clearly the actual antagonist because the businessmen themselves weren't going to prove out much resistance without having muscle to carry it out.
True. Monique arrives to apologize to Mark and wants to talk to him about something. He's in a rush, and they agree to meet up later. Some decent subtle tension building, in my opinion. I feel like she wants to tell Mark what she's been up to, but he's unknowingly on his way to kill Harry. So I can't believe I'm saying it, but there is a level of suspense in this movie.
No, I think you're just trying to find it where it's not.
Really hard, man.
Yeah, like it's hopeful is what it is, but
so they go to the cemetery for the hit where Harry is grieving over his son's grave. And I think it's a great scene. Like, Mark sees Harry's face and mutters his name, alerting Keller, which I find strange because I thought Keller already knew. And then Harry gets shot multiple times, but he and Mark kill Keller. So Monique then shows up as Mark's getaway driver?
Yeah, he told her that they would see each other later, so I guess that was...
How did she know where?
She must have followed them, I don't know.
And then it's time for the classic 80s action suit-up scene. Did this scene work for you?
Yeah, sure, why not?
That's exactly where I was. And then we get the first part of the siege, which is at the gravel pit. Of course, Mark has no problem eagle-eyeing people while driving. But there is a really weird cut of someone dying in this scene. I wondered if you caught it. Was there a death here that just kind of seemed out of place to you?
The pressure's on, but no.
There is a scene where a guy falls into a rock crusher, but he's not shot by Arnold. In fact, we don't see him get shot at all. We see Arnold shoot multiple people, and we see them fall to their deaths, basically. And then it cuts away, it cuts back, it cuts away, and there's just a guy in a rock crusher.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Oh yeah, it's so out of place. Mark murders more people than drives head on into a bulldozer. Not sure how he didn't see that one coming. And it gets worse. Somehow. Because he escapes being sandwiched by a dump truck and then just uses it as cover. And for some reason, the truck just slowly drives its way up to where the other mobsters and the money and the drugs are. Basically just kind of dropping him off and then leaving.
It must have shot the driver and it was just slowly driving because his foot was on the gas.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
But now it's time to shoot the drugs and money and then everyone else. Flash cut to Mark at the casino now. The only passage of time we get to see is that they're watching a news report at the gravel pit. So I guess that's the time period where Mark got from the gravel pit to the casino, even though we don't see him travel at all. But a room full of goons means a body count. And there is one of the goons that stood out to me. I don't know if you noticed anybody that looks somewhat familiar. But
definitely did, and I'm drawing a blank on the name right now.
Sven Ole Thorsen?
There it is.
Yeah. I had to look it up because I always remember him as LaForce in Mallrats. But I looked it up. He's in 13 Arnold movies.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. Nothing about this shootout stood out to me. Just standard fare. I feel like you agree with that?
But that's why this isn't an Arnold movie. This would have been this could have been like a Dirty Harry movie or something. It doesn't utilize Arnold in the way that we're used to, because, and I don't mean to say this in any sort of negative ways, but you can make an action star out of anybody if you're just going to have them shooting people.
Yeah, exactly. And he does it so easily. He even takes out Roca and Petrovita. So the big bads are gone. And Mark meets Monique at the airport because I guess he told her they would run away together. Because when he says but when he said he's not going, she looked shocked. And yes, he's married. So, Mark, what are you doing?
Maybe she had a little bit of hope that he wasn't married and that was just part of his cover story.
Maybe. Or maybe he knew the one way to get her to do what he says is just give her a bag of money and then tell her to leave, because that's exactly what she does.
But you don't have to say they're leaving together. Just, here's money, go.
Yeah, and I'm guessing he told her they would go together, and that's why she was waiting for him. That's why she was there. And then to get out of that, he's like, here's your money that you always want. Go the fuck away.
But she would have waited for the money anyway. There's nothing about this character that wouldn't have had us believe that if he just told her, I will give you the money you need to start a new life, that she wouldn't be like, yeah, okay, I love money.
Yeah. Detective Baker shows up and reveals he assumed that Mark was a Fed from the beginning. How?
I don't know.
Cut to Harry in rehab. He refuses to try to learn how to walk again. Mark arrives fully reinstated and back with Amy, and she's pregnant, like you said. Mark wants Harry to be his son's godfather and forces him to try to walk again. Harry does. Freeze frame, fade to black, roll credits, end of movie. Woof.
So did he get reinstated because he brought down this major drug and criminal reign, or what? Sure.
Let's go with that. I don't know. They don't tell us anything.
None of it is necessary.
This movie is a disaster. It's just so bad. But let's talk money. Let's go into how much do you think this movie cost? And I have a vague number, so I can't say 100%.
10 million.
Yeah, they're estimating between 8 and 10.
Makes sense.
What do you think it grossed?
I mean, it is Arnold coming off of a couple of hits. 38.
16.2.
Okay, well, some money, I guess.
Not great.
No.
As far as ratings go, over at the IMDb, out of 10, what do you think people have given it?
This has got to be like a 3.8 or something.
It's higher than that, actually. It came in at 5.6.
Oh, okay.
That's the highest it gets.
Okay.
Rotten Tomatoes, tomato meter, percentage of positive reviews.
41.
31.
Oof.
And as far as the popcorn meter goes?
27.
Very close. 29.
Yeah.
To be expected. I'm very, very curious about our awards here. Because
okay.
I don't think any of them are going to be the same.
Okay. Well, let's knock them out then. So, who did you have for your least favorite character?
Monique, played by Kathryn Harrold. I just hated the character. Completely unimportant to the plot. Was very annoying every time on screen. And just incredibly shallow in every possible way. Like, I don't know why her character was in this movie. You?
This is gonna hurt me to say, man. It was Arnold.
Oh, I was curious about that one.
Like, this, as I said at the beginning, like, this is probably the most unlikable protagonist role I think I've ever seen him in.
Yeah.
Mark is not a guy that I want to cheer for necessarily. Like, I don't want the bad guys to win, but like, if this guy doesn't succeed, I'd be like, yeah, all right, whatever, you gave it a shot. Like, putting in his wife just further highlights that he's a piece of garbage, right? Like, he has no problem faking his death and just leaving her. And then on top of that, like, he knows what he's doing, and he is just terrible at so much of it. And yet continuously spews things like, oh, you got to plan ahead. You got to plan ahead. And just does, and then just drives a vehicle through a storefront window in the middle of the day. Like, it's Mark sucks, man. Like,
yeah, this is kind of why I picked this one, because I remember it not being the Arnold movie that we're all familiar with. And I was right. What about your favorite character?
I had Robert Davi as Max Keller.
Okay.
I feel like out of all of the characters in the movie, he was maybe the one that would have worked the best if there was better stuff around him.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like, I think of conceptually this role of like the henchman who is skeptical of the new guy, and then still like he gets done in at the end or whatever. And like, Robert Davi plays him very well. I actually think that if you just look at the individual performances, there's nothing really that he fails to do. I mean, he doesn't have as much of a spotlight, of course, but even just like the way that he, when they say go to the gay bar and he's kind of like unsuredly like eyeing up Arnold, you're just like, I mean, it's pretty believable.
Extremely believable.
Yeah. So
I think he's one of the strongest actors in the film.
Yeah, absolutely. So who did you have for the best?
I had to go with Harry, Darren McGavin. I found that
Bias.
He was the only emotional element of the movie.
I know.
And I think it really makes sense for him to pick Mark for this suicide mission because he knows Mark's crazy enough to do it. I don't think he's he's doing it. I think he's like, he doesn't expect him to succeed. So he just dangles the one thing that Mark wants, which is potentially getting back in the FBI in front of his face, even though he doesn't have the power to do that. This whole thing is illegal.
Is it that he thinks he's crazy enough, or just that he thinks he's disposable enough? He's like, oh, he's not part of the Bureau anymore. Nobody's going to link me to it. I'm just going to pick him.
I think it could be both.
Yeah. This is your emotional anchor? He just wants to sacrifice Arnold?
Yes, I would. It's terrible.
Hello?
I'll go with memorable line then.
I think it cut out there for a minute. Sorry. For most memorable line, I actually had a Monique line. And it's when she's talking to Keller and he, I don't know, hints at them having a past relationship or at least a courtship. And she says, the only way you'll ever end up lying next to me, Max, is if we're run down by the same car.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
There really weren't many memorable lines in this movie.
No.
And I'm going to go with memorable instead of favorite because when I think of this movie, I only think of you shouldn't drink and bake. It sucks.
It's so bad.
It's terrible. But if that's the memorable line for me from this movie, it tells you how bad this movie is.
Yeah. Well, and then what did you have? I think we switched roles there, but what did you have for favorite or most memorable moment or scene?
Memorable scene for me is the sting on the safe house, the money house. I thought it was so ridiculously over the top. It was absolutely hilarious. And I rewound it. Like I went back and watched it 3 times in a row. It was just so ridiculous. What did you have for a memorable scene?
And again, it's not for a good reason at all, just like yours. But after he kills Petrovita, he just grabs a candy dish and pours it on him without saying anything.
I was curious about that.
And I'm fairly certain I referenced this scene to you before we did this movie as one thing that always stood out about this movie because it doesn't have the classic Arnold lines, but then it kind of stands out even more because you have this weird pouring of the candy where you're just like, this is the insert line moment. Why is it not happening? And then the scene ends and you're like, no. You forgot something here.
It's not over yet.
Why? And even then, like, why the candy? Why? Who does that?
Know. Yeah, and it's not like he was ever like constantly eating candy or anything too. Like that would at least, held it all together. But no, it was pointless.
Yeah. So that's our awards. Let's get to some closing thoughts. What did you think of Raw Deal?
Oh, the movie is a raw deal. It's just hot garbage. I would not recommend this movie to anybody. It's like the elements for a fun, good movie are there, and then they just decide, no, we're just not gonna put any effort into this whatsoever. The story has been done 1,000,000 times, and it's been done 1,000,000 times better. It's boring, except for when it's not, like when it's supposed to be entertaining, it's laughable. Any sort of tension is lost on the viewers. The acting is subpar. The action is standard 80s action. It gave you only a small percentage of what you were going into this movie for. So it fails on almost every level. I don't ever see myself watching this movie again. I definitely don't recommend anybody watch it. And I don't even think it would be fun to watch with friends, like for like a movie night with a couple of beers or anything. You'd just be like, well, we made a bad choice tonight, guys. Like it's just plain bad. What are your final thoughts on this one?
So 22 movie collection, and this was my least favorite. I watched it once and never took it out of the case again.
Fair enough.
And honestly, I have gone back and watched some movies that I watched when I was younger, right? Which at that time I would have been a little bit more swayed by things like cheesy lines. Now that I'm watching it as an adult, maybe there's a little bit more substance. No, there is not. There is no redeeming feature in this movie, in my opinion. Any of the good is just scrambling to find some good. I thought you picked this movie to troll me because I had referenced the terrible like candy dish thing, and I don't recommend this movie. Like, if you are looking for an 80s action movie, there's a ton that are better. If you're looking for an Arnold movie, there's a ton that are better. I can't see any scenario where you're not better off throwing a random movie on Tubi on instead.
Yeah.
So that's our thoughts on Raw Deal. If you'd like to share your thoughts with us, you can hit us up on social media. We are on Twitter at BSBargainBin, Facebook.com/BSBargainBin, and of course the comment section of the YouTube video. Man, that was painful. Ben, what do you have in store for us for the next episode?
Well, next time we're actually staying in 1986. And we're going to talk about a movie that I thought we already talked about. And I keep thinking I've made you watch in the past, but apparently haven't. So next time we'll be talking The Wraith.
An evil force took his life. An unearthly power has brought him back. He is a phantom, a wraith, a cosmic spirit given another chance.
Are you new in town?
Yeah. Who's the kid?
I turned my back, and the next second he was there. Like magic, almost.
You ever seen one of those before? Let's just add it to our collection.
There's a kid out there using his car to kill people. Not that it's such a big deal, since it seems to be your gang he's got it in for.
Shotgun, Mama Luca.
A wraith, man! A ghost! An evil spirit, and it ain't cool!
What are you doing? Packard, stop!
Get in the car!
What are you doing, man? You
Get out of my face, Burger Boy! You wind up dead like your brother!
I don't know, but whoever he was, he's weird and ticked off. I seen his eyes, Loomis!
Who are you?
Who are you?
The Wraith. If you've done nothing wrong, you've got nothing to fear.
Until next time, have a good one.
All the best.
This program is a proud part of the Swear2Pod Network.